Welcome, guys, to Metallidium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Labyrintth, this new album in the vanishing echoes of Goodbye, and more things related to the metal world in general. So we are starting by asking, how are you? How are you doing today during the last couple of years? Because your previous album, Welcome to Absolute Circus, was released 3 years, no, 4 years ago during the pandemic.
Yeah. Bye, Andrea.
Mm, yes. Briefly, as ever, we decided to meet each other in order to play some music together. We have no secrets or particular things that we schedule on a daily basis. Um, we like to pass. To spend sometimes uh, uh, with a band because we are friends. We are friends before to be musicians. So it's just a matter to spend some time together and wait that good ideas could be transformed in music. Of course, we are disappointed about the period we released Welcome to the Absu Circus because we were in the pandemic, as you mentioned. So we didn't have the chance to play a lot for obvious reasons why. So, we started to spend time together, as I told you, and playing together, have fun together, and you can hear the results in the new album. No magic, no secrets, no anything. Just a bunch of friends that uh, enjoy to play together and spend some time together. That's it.
Mm, okay. Okay. And we're talking about this now. When did you start writing songs for this new album? Are all the songs new, or do you rescue any compositions that left were out of the previous albums?
No, they're all new songs. As we usually prefer to do, we meet in a rehearsal room, old style. We start rehearsing, bringing new ideas. We try the new song all together with the band, and when something sounds good enough, then of course, we later work on it, maybe at home, but all the songs you listen to are brand new, specifically made for this album.
Mm, okay. Okay. So, how do you feel about this new album compared to the previous one that it was released during the pandemic times?
Okay. Well, it's difficult for a band uh, you know, to judge in a proper way what we do. Uh, of course, time is passing by. We're growing up. Uh, Things change. So, I think the new album is reflecting what a band is right now. Uh, we are a little bit tired about. Uh, just let me say something really strong. The fake playing. There is a trend that everyone is seeing. So, uh, when we assist to concerts and we see bands live or we listen to albums overproduced and whatever. What we want to do this time, uh, uh, much more than we've done within the last two albums, is to work together since the very beginning, as Olaf mentioned before, because the goal was, okay, let's write some songs, let's record it, and let's give us the chance to play exactly the same things when we will be on stage. That was the mood. We are not against backing tracks or whatever, because sometimes they can improve a live show. But we need to uh, put a boundary, just let me say. Um, we want to play live. We want to be true. Of course, if we need a backing track related to a particular sound of keyboard or whatever, it is part of the show. We can improve and let the fans enjoy more what we play live. But uh, we want to say, okay, we are listening to a lot of bands that are faking to play live. I'm sorry about that. I want to be sincere with you. and we do not want to be part of that trend. We want to come back to the late 80s or 90s when the bands were able to play what they're able to do. And the bands are recording what they will play live. This was the mood that personally lead me to the new album.
Mhm. Okay, okay. And one with this topic that you mentioned, Andrea, you said one thing about these, like the new bands are playing with a lot of standardization of the sound because a lot
Yeah,
of new releases are sounds perfect, sounds amazing. See, as you can see, there is 20, 30, 40, I don't know, 50 releases per weekend, but all these
yeah,
releases sounds great. That's not possible
yeah.
to see which record is not is bad, is wrong. No, because when you hear the music in the 80s or the 90s with the bands that release albums at that moment, you can see
Yeah,
some albums are great and other albums not great. That's gonna come normal because they try to record with the resources and with the studios, but now everything sounds perfect. So, what's your opinion about now this standardization of the sound in the metal industry, especially because the metal push the boundaries to sounds perfect, to sounds technically, I don't know.
I already told you. I totally agree with you. Um, I'm not saying that we are good, but people must judge the bands and what the bands are producing. If I produce a fake album, just let me use this word, fake album, people cannot judge me. People is listening to something that I'm not able to play. I'm not able to think. I can use artificial intelligence in order to write a song. I can use artificial intelligence in order to make arrangements. I can use a lot of sequencer, computer stuff, and whatever in order to play in the best way I can do, but it's not the real me. So it is a problem just because when I started to listen this kind of music, I was very young. I presume I was something like 10 years old or whatever. And I remember that albums like Kill 'Em All sounds so perfect to my ears. Actually, after 30 years of music, I can say that guitars are not in tune, for example, in the very beginning of Seek and Destroy, but this sounds very, very good to me, you know. Also uh, in the albums, I listen for real bands, just let me say that, and I can judge if I like or not. If a musician would like to cheat, just let me say that a
Mhm.
little bit in order to demonstrate what is not, I don't think he's doing a good work for the audience, first of all. Because I'm not saying, okay, it's me, and now judge what I able to do. Just say me if you like it, if you don't like it, and in order to create a new scene made by real band that could be create affection in the fans. If you notice, we are passing probably since 20 years ago a period where no bigger bands are grown up. We are still listening for the same bands. I'm a big fan of bands like Iron Maiden and Slayer and Metallica and whatever. But what else? You know, and this is because the fans probably are really confused and they're not more able to judge properly the bands just because, as you mentioned, all the bands are playing really good. They made beautiful albums. Sounds are so perfect or something like that in every album that we listen for. So okay, we are not saying the truth, and this is something that we would like to avoid. That's why I explained to you what lead me to the new album. But it's okay, you know, we are son of our times, as we say here in Italy. So um, we need to accept that, and we need to move on, trying to do our best. We cannot change the future, you know. We cannot change the present too.
Mhm.
So mm, it's a pity, in my personal opinion. But okay. I cannot say anything except I don't want to be part of that trend.
Mhm. Okay, okay. And other thing that you said is about now we are listening, all people coming from the 80s or 90s, we are listening just the great bands here, like Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, that kind of stuff. And I always considered that rock or metal music is the music of people that may age but keep the spirit young. I listen to the later records from the classic bands, and after
Mhm.
decades, many of them manage to keep the energy, but to be realistic, nothing lasts forever. In your opinion,
Mhm.
what do you think is going to happen when the most classic bands that cannot perform at the stadiums will be retired? Do you think that there are younger bands that can carry the torch in that aspect?
Yeah. Okay, Olaf. Sorry if I'm
Sure, sure, go, go,
stealing
go,
your
Danny.
time, but I
No, no,
mentioned that I have to leave in minutes, so I will
sure.
answer to that question and then I'll pass to you the interview. So sorry about that. What will happen? I'm very clear. It's happening. It's not a matter of what will happen. The scene is totally dead. People are not. There's no more venues where to play. I'm speaking about small and medium venues. Um um, mm, there's no more interest in the band. Nobody is taking care about the covers, the lyrics. Uh, it's just a matter of open Spotify and listening and to listen to 1,000 songs per day. So this mood is not creating the affection. So when the bigger bands will stop because it's normal, it's it's something related to the human nature. So nobody could play, especially this kind of music at. Uh, uh, I mean, since uh, uh, 100 years old or something like that, I think that everything will stop immediately uh, because we will be in front of nothing. But this is not something that will happen. It's happening right now since probably 10 or 20 years ago, but we are not taking care about that because, okay, I can open Spotify and listening to Seven Son of a Seven Son. And this is enough for me. Uh, I know I'm speaking really hard, uh, but this is the way I'm thinking right now. This is the reason why bands could not make money. Again, I'm sorry about that, but we need to be clear. To be a musician, uh, uh, you can be a musician in two different ways. You can have your normal job, your family, your hobbies, and whatever, and then to spend sometimes when will happens playing music with your bands. But this will not lead to great results. Or we need to have the chance to live with music, not to be rich, just to have a normal incoming. So I'm not speaking to buy a big boat or a Ferrari. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that musicians actually are not able to anymore to live with music. Uh, so okay, this is what the people would like to have, and could not be my decision. But we need to be very careful because people are talking a lot, but they're not aware about the reality, about the truth. So, guys, we are risking to lose uh, the music that we are passionate, the music that we lived by. So, um, I hope that my words could lead people to reflect about that, and the people itself will decide if I'm uh, right or not. This is just my opinion, but I'm 51 years old, and I've done what I've done. I'm very happy about what we did with the band, about all the tours and albums that we made. So I'm not afraid to say, okay, let's make a stop because I don't want to be part of this world anymore. I'm, you know, uh, I'm worried about the new bands, the new guys that are starting right now with their passion, and uh, this is why I'm feared and why I'm my words are sounding so negative, but this is the truth, you know, and it's in front of us every day. It depends by us to hide ourselves to what's happening, or finally to say, okay, let's start from the beginning once again. Let's start from where when everything started, and let's behave in the right way. But again, it's just my personal opinion, and I would like to shout it out loud. Um, but the good news is that passions are difficult to kill. So, uh, in order to be a little bit more positive, something will happen. But please take care about the risk that we are living. That's it. Again, I'm sorry, but I have to say hello. I would like to say thank you so much to everyone, to all the people that are listening to our music. I hope you enjoy it, and uh, keep art, and talk to you very soon. I'll pass my word to Olaf, and um, thank you so much again.
Don't worry, it's a pleasure.
Okay, thank you. Ciao, Olaf.
Ciao, ciao.
Okay. Well, I understand totally. So, yeah. Well, Andrea has right in on this topic about it. Now there's no more bands. The music industry changed a lot, especially for the digital platforms. There's not anymore
Yeah.
like that. So now, with a band like you, will be like Labyrinth has a lot of well, had a lot of career. You have great albums, No Limits, Return to
Thank
the
you.
29. You have other albums in the last years are amazing. And so also your previous album, Welcome to the Absolute Circus, it's a great album. This new one is a solid one. So for you, how do you see the music industry during the next the next 10 years? So do you think that is the people still will buy in some physical copies? How do you see the music career for all these new bands? Because you have a spot into the music industry. So that's completely normal because you are here in the music industry for more than 30 years. You are releasing music. You have a legend like Labyrinth. It is you create something special since the beginning. But now there's no the same special for the new bands. So what's your opinion about or what's going to happen with the next generation of the musicians?
Well, it's a very difficult question because nobody knows about the future. What can I say? uh, when I'm when I am asked this question, I always answer the same way. I think that, like it or not, things are changing. Things have changed already compared to when we started with our bands when we were younger. So there is nothing you can do other than adapting to the situation. And in this new challenge, which we're all facing, especially the old bands,
Mhm.
uh, the miracle is when you make it as a band to keep on with your style, with your passion. If you can keep on with doing things you like the way you like, it's already a success for us, for people like us. For a new band, of course, it's a completely different story. They the new bands, of course, are supposed to be made by younger people. They start in this situation, so probably for them this is the reality. There is no past. There is no past. It's like when we were listening to the older bands, and they were telling us how it was in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s. And so it's the circle of life. That's how it goes. I am not particularly scared. Of course, I'm a bit pessimistic about how is it going, but what can we do? We can keep on making music, and hopefully people will keep on listening to it.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Yes. Another question that is well related to this, as you can see now, the artificial intelligence are creating a lot of situations with, especially with the fans, because the bands doesn't care about if they use it, if or don't care about if they use the artificial intelligence in the music, in I don't know how to use it, or is like a tool. That's completely normal for the bands, because that's not a problem. You need to create just the music, but the fans are getting mad for the bands using the artificial intelligence. You can see comments about just the fans reacting so bad for Pestilence cover art, for Deicide cover art, for Kerry Cannon cover art, and or for the video created by artificial intelligence and more things. You can see there's a lot of complaint by the fans, but not the bands. The bands are still using this new software as a tool to create new things. That's completely normal, because the musician has the liberty to create anything with if you have new tool, you can use it with your music, you can use it in your cover art, you in your video. I don't know. That's a tool for all musicians. When I ask this one, all musician thinks this is a tool. It's not the way to compose. Just a tool to create some things with their music. But the fans are just mad with this topic of the cover arts. But as you are a musician right now, the recording process, or when you play a live, there's a lot of festivals or concerts that no put right now that concerts or festivals not using the amps, because just need to connect directly to the console without amps, no console, so just console. And when in recording process, you don't use the effect like the old ways. You are using directly, and in the computer you're using something, the technology or the AI, like creating plugins, new effects for the guitar. You just record them directly to the guitar, and obviously when you create a song, it's not like this, like the Edison's 90s, when you are on the studio long hours to create a song. It's now just go to computer, just put the correct plugin or the correct set it up for the effect of the guitar, and that's it. You create a song. You just or you record
Yeah.
us. So that, but the people just get mad at the visual aspect of the artificial intelligence. But as they don't know that the artificial intelligence is with us since long time ago, hearing helping the musicians without no amps, just consoles, plugins, and more things. What's your opinion
Yeah.
about now?
Well, first of all, it applies to any new technology. I have nothing against a new technology. We can discuss about the use that you make of this technology, how you're gonna use it. That is questionable sometimes, but technology has always been part of even our music. I mean, after all, we play music since the 60s, even the 50s, which goes through electric amplifiers. So, where is the limit to the use of a technology? Who decides when it's too much? Before we had tube amplifier. That is technology already. You couldn't play heavy metal without electric amplifiers and electric guitars. With a classical guitar only, as the good old style of the classical music, there would be no heavy metal. Then in the 90s, we had the first explosion of the digital era. Digital era was helping the bands to stay in a studio the right amount of time rather than spending months in order to produce an album and also spend a lot of money. Then we had this final era with the computer, with the artificial intelligence. Of course, it's a very new thing. It's very scary. I agree with you in many aspects of what you said. In example, we just played in December. We played in Germany in a power metal festival, and we were the only band using real tube amplifiers and with a real keyboard player on stage playing the keyboard live. And some people, they were even surprised because that sounded really funny to us, because it seemed like we were dinosaurs. They were not used anymore already. Some of these people were not used anymore. They say every other band goes with this digital guitar amplifier to be connected directly to the mixer. I
Mhm.
remember there was a band, even a very known band. The guitarist didn't have anything but a computer, so they were plugging the guitar right into the computer.
Mhm.
And well, I have nothing against it. I found it funny. I would say that is not the reason why I started playing this music. So I would never do such a thing. But at the same time, if they like it and if it works, it's good for them. Then we have some extreme limits, like what not everybody probably know yet is that you can also make music with artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
There are many programs online. You go there, you type a request like make me a power metal song 160 bpm with neoclassical solos, and the computer creates everything in a few minutes.
Mhm.
So then I imagine a band taking using it for inspiration and then taking the song and recording the song with a real band.
Mhm.
Are we sure there will be a moment in which we can recognize the difference between a real made and written song and a song completely created by artificial intelligence? These are questions I cannot answer. I don't know. I don't know. Probably now it is already, we are already there, and I cannot imagine how it will be in 20 years because technology goes so fast. But what can I say? We live these times, and as I said before, we must somehow learn to adapt to these moments. For a band like us, it's going to be very important, and we are very proud of the fact that whenever you come to see a show, whenever you listen to an album, you can feel, you can still hear it's 100% real music made by real people. And well, that's the way we want to be, and that's the way we are going to be until the end.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Well, we're talking about a lot of stuff for the now, for the actual world. So, and that's returning to this new album. So, what kind of plans do you have for this new one? I saw that you will play some gigs there, some years. Perhaps you will release more videos, or perhaps you're already working a new album, or who knows? Perhaps you will come here in a full tour here in Latin America. Who knows? What kind of plans do you have for this new album
Yeah, who
and
knows?
in general?
That would be nice. For the moment, since the album has just been released, we are just enjoying the moment. We are planning some live shows. We have some festivals planned for later this year. Uh, we also had some requests for playing in Latin America, and even if it's not always that easy because the costs
Mhm.
have raised so much compared to the past. I've been used to tour
Mhm.
many times in Latin America, also with my other band, Vision Divine. And this time, whenever we try to check the costs, it has become really expensive. Even flight tickets have become incredibly expensive. Of course, this would turn into the whole cost for a tour higher. And so things are more difficult, not only for us, for everyone. Of course, if you are a very, very big band touring regularly, you can manage these things in a better way. If you're more popular, you can even raise the tickets, the cost, and you can cover it. For a band like us, sometimes you wonder if it's really something you can make it happen. But well, we are working on something, and we are hoping that we will make it to play as much as possible everywhere.
Okay, well, we are close to in this interview, Olaf, and for this one, so as you can see, let's talk about now, right now, about history of, especially for the, in general, for the Labyrinth, because Labyrinth, for me, and I think for a lot of people, are considered one of the biggest head into the progressive power metal stuff. I read a lot of reviews. I read even wait when I was there when you create No Limits, because I hear for the first time in 1996 that album. I hear that album, and not a lot of people thinks like me. You are one of the heads of the progressive power stuff, like with Symphony X, with Andromeda, and other bands that now are the biggest head on the in this style. So now, as you can see, there's a lot of new bands trying to reply to your sound with your new albums, with your influence. So on this topic, so for you, how was you came up with this idea to mix the progressive and the power stuff in the beginning? So for you, how was the main influence that you have at that moment when you create Labyrinth? Because you started this band as a thrash metal band with morbid visions. You create a thrash metal, and then you decide to change with Labyrinth now. So for you,
You know,
what motivates you to create this band Labyrinth and lean down to the progressive power metal stuff?
well, first of all, thank you so much. You're very kind, and you know many things. So it's always a pleasure. Answering your question, we didn't actually plan to play what we are playing. Simply, this is what we like. This is music as we like, and in our mind, even when we were younger and we started playing this music, we always, and still nowadays, we consider Labyrinth when they ask us, which music do you play? We never reply progressive power metal. We say we play heavy metal because heavy metal already has everything in it, which gives you the freedom to play every kind of music you like. When we say heavy metal, we have bands like Judas Priest, but we also have bands like, I don't know, Scorpions, Def Leppard. Uh, we even had band, if you remember in the past, bands like The Cult. They were part of heavy metal. So then later, after the 90s, early 2000s, we start using many subgenres to identify, to specify a band. So this band is power metal, this band is progressive metal, this band is melodic metal, and so on. But if we think about it, they are all details from the same main genre, like the big mama is heavy metal, and still we consider Labyrinth to be a heavy metal band because our music, as you said, origins from thrash metal. But at the same time, we are not a thrash metal band. We know it because our singer, especially Roberto, sings in a completely different way. And the same goes for the progressive side. We never wanted to be a progressive band. When I say progressive, I think of band like Yes. Of course, Yes, it's a super band. I'm a huge fan of Yes, but definitely Labyrinth don't sound like Yes, or I don't know, progressive metal. I think of bands like Dream Theater, and again, we don't sound that similar to them. So uh, labeling a band with 30 years of history, it's very complicated because even when you say progressive power metal, when you start using more than a single word, it means the band is playing different styles altogether. And that means everything. That can mean anything. We can play a song only with acoustic guitar and piano, and then we have another song which sounds much closer to thrash metal.
Well, okay, that is true. That is true. And now we will talk about one of the for me one of the biggest stones into the progressive power metal stuff. That is Return to the Heaven Denied. An album that for me changed the perspective to understand this style. For me, especially because I hear a lot at that time. I was there. I remember very well when this album came out in a cassette copy from a friend there at that moment, and blow my mind because it's a different thing. Now, so how was the composition of that album at that moment? Because it's more, a lot of people think that is a stone into this style. I don't. I think a lot of people think that is a stone. We like the Divine Winds of Tragedy, the Symphony X. There's the other stone into the pop progressive power metal stuff. So a lot of people thinks like that. So how was the composition, and why do you decide to bring back this Remember in your second album, Return to Heaven the Nine Part 2 in 2010?
Oh, well, you know, of course, we are very connected to that album, because without that album, today there would be no Labyrinth anymore. So we are very lucky. We are very lucky and very proud to think that we made such an album that everyone in the world always mention, and they know the songs. And but again, the truth is, how did we write it? How did we compose it? How did we record it? And the answer is still the same, exactly the same as we did this latest album. We were meeting in a rehearsal room, playing all together, bringing ideas and putting everything together until the song was ready and we were liking it enough. And we said, okay, this is good. We keep it and we will record in the for the new album. There is no planning behind it, the way which we are probably used to see nowadays from the newer bands, these modern bands where everything is planned. You have an Instagram profile, you have a Facebook profile, you make videos on TikTok, and you prepare your career. It's not a critic, it's just saying. We are one of those bands coming from the garage days, a rehearsal room. We were meeting almost every day in a rehearsal room because playing music was our passion. So we realized a very, very good album, but back then we didn't expect it to be so popular still after 25 years. And well, sometimes when you ask to the musician, it happens to me as well. I have been talking with some of my idols, like I have been making a song with Ray Alder from Fates Warning. Fates Warning is my all-time favorite band, probably. And when I ask him, how did you make such a good album like Parallels from Fates Warning? And it was a stupid question, because the reply I got was exactly the same I can give to people asking about Return to Heaven Denied. When you make something, you don't think about it that much. You don't know what is coming out of it. And the fun is that you realize it 20 years later, because you see people still talking about it. And then you say, oh, wow, okay, then it means something. It means more than what I thought it would have to the people. But there is no secret formula behind it.
Okay. So now we are close to this interview, and for this one, this is the last interview. So as you are a great musician, as you are one of the heads of the progressive power metal staff, what do you recommend? What is your recommendation for the new era of musicians that are releasing albums, songs? Do you think that these new musicians have to work in their music, or perhaps not, because there's a lot of competition now? The digital platforms are involved now. So, what's your opinion about this, and what kind of recommendation do you have for these new younger people?
My recommendation for what it counts to the newest generation, to a new band, is to remember that times have always been hard. Even when we started, we had the same story going on. The label and everybody was telling us, guys, nowadays it's not the 80s anymore. It's very difficult. It's very complicated. So my advice is, play the music you like and do it because you like. Don't plan too much. Don't you expect to become famous or popular. Of course, if you want to do it, it's good. It sounds good. Then you must apply and you must work 10 times harder. But the only secret behind having some sort of success or anything is to like what you do and to believe in what you do. You must do it because you like it, not because it's a job. Music is not a job. It can become a job if you're lucky enough, but it can only become a job if what you're doing is clearly visible by everyone around you. When you go on stage, when you release an album, if people see that you like what you're doing, then you will be believed. If you just copy a music, like, I don't know, as you said before, these days you have 50 albums coming out every week. They all sound the same. They all play the same kind of music, the same style. They are copy of the copy of the copy of the copy of the copy. That is very difficult that it may work if success is what you want to reach, because there will be nothing making you special when compared to the others. In our small world, for how small we can be, what we did back then was to create something somehow new. There was nothing new in the music. It was still heavy metal, but all the mixture of some progressive elements, some melodic parts, the thrash guitars, and all put together was making the band sound a bit different. When you were listening to 10 albums, ours was standing out a bit more than the others. So my advice to the younger generation is try to find your own way and work harder in that. Don't you copy the others. When something has been done, it's been done already, and it's been done probably better than what you could ever do. So don't waste your time copying another band. Make your own music.
Okay. Well, Olaf, thank you very much for this interview. It was a pleasure to have you today. And well, we arrived to the sad moment of
Great.
this. Perhaps and congratulations, this new album is a great one as usually, because
Thank
the
you.
last albums from Labÿrinth are amazing. So is there anything else message? Also, congratulations. Perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans and obviously Metallerium followers?
Of course, I want to thank you, everyone for still listening to Labÿrinth in 2025. I am very honored. I'm very flattered to see how huge the response is coming from this album. The feedback is great. Everyone seems to love this album. And imagine us after 30 years still making new music. Everyone, you release something, you're always afraid people will say, okay, enough. I don't like it anymore. So whenever I get such a strong reaction from the people, from the listeners, from the fans, me and Roberto and Andrea and the other guys, we are very grateful. So thank you, everybody. And as we said before, I really hope there will be a chance this year for coming again back to Latin America.